Hello, everyone. Hi. So, as people come on in, why don't you go ahead and put in the chat where you're dialing in from? Just an FYI to all of those out there, we are actually live on Facebook, we are live on LinkedIn, and we are live on YouTube. So we are live across multiple channels and hopefully worldwide as well. Stacey Peters folding clothes, watching from Rock Island. Hello from Boston. Teresa in St. Louis. Keep them coming, ladies. And while everyone's logging on as well, I do have to apologize. I saw comments from last week or the week before. So I was very, very sick and had absolutely zero voice at the last second. So unfortunately, we did have to cancel at the last second. We tried to put a note out to reschedule, but being that it's live on all of these different channels, it was really difficult to get the message out. So we do apologize for that, but we're here now. And so thankful that you guys have circled back and are joining us now. So, wow, Alex from NYC, Cosette from Utrecht, Danielle from Madison. Hey. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive right in, shall we? So, one of the things that we're going to do as we go along, so a lot of questions are going to come up. Totally fine. Put them in the chat. Just if you can, at the very beginning of your question, put in big caps question or Q. And at the end of this, we will circle back and answer all of your questions as well. All right. Sound like a deal? All right. So jumping right in, I think I like this one better. Again, thank you guys for coming. Here's all about Wanderful Local Hubs. So my name is Jordan Campbell. I am actually the Wanderful Global Hub Leader for Wanderful. And what that means is on the international Wanderful team, I'm the person who actually oversees all of the local hubs, wherever they may be, and all of the different roles within each of those hubs. So I'm your go-to person for that. And it's very nice to meet you all. And what are we going to be talking about today? So first, we're going to cover what is Wanderful, all about our community, what the local hubs actually do, hub leader responsibilities. There are several roles now that you can select from, and of course, how to apply. So a little bit about Wanderful. So Wanderful was actually started on a solo female trip to Sao Tome and Principe, which is just off the coast of West Africa. Our CEO and founder, I don't know why I tripped up on that, Beth Santos, was doing a lot of traveling and had realized during her time there that she had all the tips that she could use online in Googling, all the actual travel tips. But what she was actually missing was a community, specifically a community of fellow women travelers to share tips with and insights with, things that, women have a very different travel experience than men. So it was really important to begin a community and sort of provide this as a resource to everyone. So as Beth would say, she needed more than just tips. She needed a sisterhood. And thus became what we now know as Wanderful. So Wanderful does a ton of different things. Sometimes it's actually really hard to explain to people that we meet what Wanderful does. The biggest thing is we are a community, online and in person, but we also oversee the WITS Travel Creator and Brand Summit being held April in Utah this year. It's going to be amazing. We do trips like to Antarctica was one of our big ones. We have one coming up to Jordan. Wanderfest, which was the first women-only travel festival outdoors that was held in New Orleans. We have the Bessie Awards. We again have our local in-person hubs, our online membership community, Women Who Travel Radio, and tons of content and social. If you don't follow us yet already, please do so. We're on most socials at She's Wanderful. We also have at Wanderful Creators as well, if you're a creator. So, membership to Wanderful gives you access to a live network of women who can guide you before, during, and after your travels. It is very literally a community in which you can say, I'm going here. Can you tell me a little bit about this? And somebody from there will literally jump on and say, Hey, I'm from here. And then you guys meet up and you go get a cup of coffee. Or you're there in the moment and you're like, Is anyone here? People put their hands up. I actually was just in Tbilisi last week, and there were multiple wonderful members there as well within the group we were in. So that was a really good time. And I'll be seeing all of those same wonderful members elsewhere in the world in just a couple of months. So pretty cool. There are three different membership types that you need to know about. There's travelers, which is sort of the baseline membership. There's the creators membership and the small business membership. Now, all three will get you 24/7 access to the virtual platform, the member portal, where you can meet other travelers near you. Within that, there are tons of virtual events. Local meetups are posted there. There's a global hosting network where people can post Airbnbs, things like that, and tons of other benefits. There are lots of wonderful only exclusive benefits, like 25% off Delsey luggage, which is amazing. Trying to think, there's so much stuff in there. It almost gets a little overwhelming looking through all of it, but it really, really, really is very much worth the investment. The traveler membership starts at $9 a month. And for more info on that, if you're interested, visit sheswanderful.com/join, JOIN. So here's a little bit more about our local hubs, which is the big reason why all of you have joined us today. Our local hubs are the heart of Wanderful by bringing real connections to women travelers worldwide. And this photo right here was actually the DC hub launch, which at the time I was the DC hub leader. And we had such an amazing time getting together and such a great chapter. We still regularly get together once a month. And even in addition to that, the wonderful women have actually become my general friends in the region, meaning I don't just get together with them for wonderful events. I see them often, like in my own time. So outside of Wanderful. So wonderful local hubs did start off being solely events. So, and of this, there were two types of events. A free and public hub launch party, which you can see here, the DC hub launch party, and then monthly in-person meetups for members only. So we still do events. It depends on your local hub, but we have also provided on top of that lots of other ways that you can contribute to being a wonderful hub leader in your local area. And it's not solely events anymore, though events are super fun. So we have a ton more chapters than this. However, this is a list of a bunch of our chapters right now. We have chapters in Asheville, Atlanta, Austin, a BIPOC virtual chapter, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Detroit, London, LA, Mexico City, New York, Orlando, Philly, Rochester, San Diego, Seattle, St. Louis, Toronto, Tucson, and DC, and more to come, actually, as I just interviewed an additional person this morning in Italy for a new hub. So fingers crossed. And a little bit from our hub leaders themselves. And we're actually going to be bringing some hub leaders on to talk about their experiences and ask them some questions themselves. But here are a couple of testimonials in addition to the people you'll be hearing from today. So Pam Garcia, our Mexico City hub leader, says being a hub leader is such a big opportunity to share my culture with the community and learn from others. I love that I can help women when they're visiting Mexico and make her trip even more unique and local. I really enjoy being able to connect deeper with members and listen to their travel life stories. And one of the amazing things about Pam's hub in Mexico City is we actually did a Day of the Dead long weekend global meetup there, where we had 40 women from all over the world join just for a weekend, that weekend, and had light events all stayed at the same place. And it basically ended up being you could attend what you wanted. You didn't have to attend something else. But at the end of the day, a lot of us just created a WhatsApp and said, I'm going to be in the lobby at this time and I'm heading to this if anyone wants to join. So people came early, they stayed late. But also we got to do really cool things like Pam's family brought us on a Xochimilco boat where we had a brunch, authentic Mexican, served to us, made by her mom. It was truly the most amazing experience. Love to do it. Oh, there's another Mexico Global Meetup coming too. Teresa, who we'll be speaking with in a little bit. I'm excited to share the wonderful community with friends in St. Louis, and I love representing my city to fellow travelers in the wonderful community. I love being connected to women all over the world, and I want to share that with everyone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring on 3 current Wanderful Hub leaders right now, and then we'll go through and we'll have the opportunity to ask them some quick questions. So, hi, ladies. Let's see. I think this one's better. So, welcome, welcome. As mentioned, here's Teresa, our St. Louis Hub leader, and she was the person who just gave the testimonial. Here is Elise as well, our Austin Hub leader, and Sam is actually a new DC Hub leader as well. I'm going to unmute you all. All right, so let's see. Elise. So Austin, hello from Austin, or hello at Austin, I should say. What interested you in becoming a hub leader for Wanderful?
Well, when I found out about Wanderful, it was through a webinar, one of them that was open to the public. And I was like, I would really like to be part of that. And so I looked into it and I saw that we had a hub in Austin, but it wasn't active at the time. And so I looked into it to see what we had to do to get active, and all we needed was a hub leader. So I was like, well, I can do that.
Right. I feel like that's what happens a lot is all we need is the hub leader. Everyone's like, it sounds amazing, but we need you guys and more women like you. And Elise too, now you also have Stephanie as another hub leader as well. Mm-hmm. So Austin is actually building a team actively as we speak that have different roles, which we'll talk about shortly. Teresa, how about you?
Well, that's funny that you put up my testimonial there because it was a long time ago that I wrote that, but those are all exactly the same things I would say today. And thanks for reminding me about that. So yeah, I'm glad to be here to talk about being a hub leader because it is really great and I really love it. So I hope all of you join us.
And Sam was with us under a slightly different hub team structure before and is now officially a hub leader with DC and has been an active member for a long time. So Sam, how did you first get introduced to Wanderful? What drew you to it and eventually made you decide to become a hub leader?
Yeah, I found Wanderful right after I'd moved down to the DC area, sort of just post-pandemic. Needed community, loved traveling, so it was like it was the first in-person event that the DC chapter had back since the pandemic for Galentine's that I came to. And you guys were looking for someone to help out more in sort of a little bit of a volunteer hub structure. I was like, me, pick me. I want to hang out with all of you more and help out. And it's just such a wonderful community to get to be a part of and all contribute to. I love getting to help organize stuff and connect all of our different members. So it was perfect timing for me.
And Elise, what would you say of all the events you guys have had in Austin, which was your favorite and why?
My favorite, my favorite was probably our Galentine's event last year. And it's next weekend if anybody's in Austin, February 10th. But it was my favorite because a lot of new people came, some people that had been asking about our group, but hadn't actually made it out yet. And we all had a really great time, brought a lot of women together, and they actually linked up a lot of the women there because they mostly all have their own businesses that were at that meetup, and a lot of their businesses coincided with each other. So one person was an event planner, and another woman designs like backdrops and that kind of stuff. So they linked up to work together. One woman was, well, she has this group here for content creators in Austin, and a lot of the people there were content creators. So they all started working together to collab that way. So I really liked that. One, we had fun. Two, a lot of people were able to make new connections basically from it, and still also join Wanderful, not just come to the event.
Well, and I have to give Sam the floor as well, because I think DC's is this Sunday as well. So DC's Galentine's, right?
It is,
Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, we're going to be Sunday before the Super Bowl. So if anyone is in the DC area and wants to join, don't worry. We'll be done before then. We're going to be spending a couple hours at DC Vegan, hanging out. We've got some giveaways and doing lots of fun, just sort of intro stuff. I love the big open events because you get all kinds of new people who are interested, and a lot of them do sign up to join as members, and you get to keep meeting up with them and hanging out with them. So it's really cool.
And somebody in the comments was saying Boston too. So Boston's Galentine's Day is coming up as well. Teresa, I'm going to prod you on a different event only because I know that you've been to both WITS and the Global Meetup in Mexico City. So maybe tell us just from the Hub Leader perspective what your favorite part about WITS is and the Global Meetups as more wonderful offerings.
I'm glad you asked me that question, because one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about what I would say about being a hub leader and being part of Wanderful. And, you know, when you're a hub leader, you get to be more involved with things. And so, you know a lot more people, I think, you get more engaged when you volunteer. And one of the things that I love about Wanderful is that every event that I've ever been to, I find women who are loving and supportive and empowering. And I think WITS is especially that place. I am not a creator. I am a traveler, and I also have a small business, which one of the things I'm grateful for is that they've started a small business membership. So WITS is not necessarily for me, for my business, although I think we're trying to move towards that for small businesses. But I still just feel very connected to everybody when I go there. And I just feel like there's all these women who just love each other. And then the Global Meetup was just absolutely a huge blast. We had 40 women who just had so much fun together. It was great. But the other event I want to tell you about that is not still, we don't have a new one planned, but was Wanderfest. And I was going to bring that up as a St. Louis event too, because our group got together and went to New Orleans for Wanderfest. And so besides Wanderfest being just amazing, it was really fun having our a group from St. Louis travel together as well. So Wanderfest was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it's still one of my best memories in the last few years. So, and I think that's why we're moving toward a little bit more trips too. Is just so much fun to travel with a group of women.
Yeah, and I will say too is that I know Sam from the local area because I'm also from Metro DC. I was longtime friends with Teresa prior to actually meeting her at WITS, and so absolutely love her to death, and we run into one another all the time. And earlier last year, I was in Austin and met up with, I think at least last minute, we were going to meet up. Something happened, but was able to meet up with other members of the Austin community. So that was super fun. So we are actually wherever you guys are traveling, and we're here to meet up with you. That's part of our role and part of what all of us love about Wanderful. So before you guys step off stage and we move to talking about the different roles that you can serve as a Wanderful Hub Leader, I want to ask all of you guys one last question, and that is, what would you say? This is a question I didn't pose earlier. What would you say to somebody who was thinking about becoming a hub leader, but was on the fence. And I'll go Sam.
Great. My instant, like the first thing that came to my head when you just asked that was dive in, do it. It is so much fun. There are plenty of resources. Jordan is incredibly accessible. The whole She's Wanderful team is very, very helpful. It's such a wonderful experience. And you can build a team around you too to help out. And I just think, if you're thinking about it but not sure, do it. Give it a try. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time.
Elise?
Same, just do it. Don't think too hard about it, because when I signed up, I was like, oh, what if I don't have enough time, or what if it's too much of a responsibility? It's not. As long as you are able to talk to your community like a regular basis, the same amount of time that you are on regular social media, just take a piece of that and talk to your community, build friendships. It's really great. I love the women in Austin. I love seeing them, and within and outside of wonderful events, I love seeing them. But just do it. You're gonna have way more pros than cons when you sign up and join, and you get a lot of free perks too. So
Yeah,
There are tons.
lots of books.
And Teresa, how about you?
That was one of the things I was thinking about too. When I joined as a hub leader, I was thinking, oh, it's the best way to get engaged in a group. And I had no idea there were any perks. And then when they told me the perks, I was like, oh, wow, that's even better. So I would say it is work. Like there is work involved in it. But the benefits that I get from Wanderful and being a hub leader far exceed all of the time that I put into it. And it never feels like work. It feels like, it feels like something I'm doing that I love and that I want to be part of. So it's a great group. And I was just on my walk this morning, I was thinking, it's my favorite group in the world. I feel so happy with all of the women in Wanderful.
Yeah, you're pretty cool too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And ladies in the chat, we're going to talk about hub leader responsibilities and those amazing, amazing benefits that the ladies were talking about as well. So, and we'll have questions at the end as well. So do not fret. Okay. So moving back over to hub leader roles and responsibilities. So the primary hub leader responsibilities, regardless of what role you decide to take on, is 1, to create a safe, nurturing, collaborative, enthusiastic space for women to be vulnerable, open up, and most importantly, support each other. 2, serve as a welcoming space for new visitors coming to your own town. 3, to connect local community with the worldwide Wanderful ecosystem. So Wanderful is everywhere. We're very active in our communities. We talk to other women's organizations in the area, women-owned businesses. Everywhere we travel. So it's kind of, once it becomes part of your life, it almost becomes ingrained in your DNA everywhere that you go. It really, really is amazing. So hub leader roles, as mentioned earlier, we used to have a system where we were centered primarily around events and in-person meetups in local areas. We've decided to change that up a little bit. So we still do have events and meetup leader positions available. So you can start a new hub doing just that. And essentially you just plan monthly member meetups. And if a wonderful event is coming to your city at the Wanderful level, we'd also reach out to you for help in planning that as well. We have roles for marketing and partnership leaders. These are the folks that focus on hub visibility and local partner collaborations. In other words, other women-owned businesses in your city, other women-owned organizations. The marketing leaders also, of course, support the events leaders when they might have events coming up. We have community engagement leaders that are responsible for onboarding new members, meeting with visitors. They're kind of the in-person face when we have out-of-town visitors. And of course, we have content and resource leaders. These are the folks that are basically more strong on the blogger side. So they'll be providing a couple of content pieces per year to the Wanderful blog about their local city, how to support women-owned businesses, things to do, but also they're going to be putting together resource sort of directories for each city for women-owned businesses, women-owned hotels, where to stay, everything that is super friendly to women in the area and is helping support local businesses. Cosette was just asking, if there's only one hub leader in your hub, do you have to be all the roles? No, you do not, Cosette. So you can, while ideally we would suggest having a minimum of 2 people, yourself and one other person, you can both take on whichever role you would like. Not all 4 roles have to be filled. So you can have a hub with just an events leader and a content leader. You can have a hub with a marketing leader and a community engagement leader. In other words, there are a bunch of different ways that you can create community in your local area, and it doesn't necessarily have to be centered around in-person events, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an entire team. You can contribute as a hub leader within one of these roles. And each role is a commitment of around 2 hours a week, I would say. So the benefits, this is the part all of us are really excited about. So you get, as a hub leader, a free Wanderful Creator membership. This is valued at approximately $160 a year. If you are a new or an active hub, you actually receive 25 free traveler memberships to kick off your local hub. So in other words, free memberships to give out to people in your area that are going to be active in the community and involved, and of course, possibly join you on your team, right? You also get 25% affiliate commission on ongoing member dues. In other words, you would go through a self-paced training that automatically signs you up for an affiliate link, and you can use that wherever. So for every new person that comes into your hub, 25% of those dues goes to you. You also can receive commission on sponsorship income. In other words, if you're a marketing and partnerships leader and you meet a women's organization that wants to work with Wanderful and their creator database, for example, you would receive a portion of or a commission of the deal that went through, where Wanderful creators, for example, are working on a campaign in your local area. Free tickets to Wanderful's global events like WITS, again, coming in Utah in April. And of course, first to know about Wanderful initiatives and projects, of which there are many all the time, constantly, and lots of opportunities to get involved. So if you're a small business or if you're a creator, there are so many different initiatives that you can put yourself out there and get your name, your business name and your creator name out there into the universe in front of very large audiences. So keys to success for our Wanderful Hub leaders. So role specific, of course, if you're doing event planning, we just need you to have a strong understanding of event planning, knowledge of growth-minded marketing tactics for the marketing role, for the engagement role, a natural convener who puts people at ease, welcoming, interested in engaging with people online as well. And of course, for the content role, we want you to have some social media experience, writing experience. So any one of those, whatever you're strongest at, whatever excites you the most and, gets you involved in the Wanderful community, find a spot for yourself here. You do have to be comfortable overall putting yourself out there. Wanderful is a very social group. We're very friendly and very welcoming. But if you're going to be a hub leader, part of the role is that you're present and sort of showing face to everybody there, a natural builder, thoughtful, inclusive, and of course, absolutely loves your community. Wonderful. How to apply. So all you have to do to apply is visit sheswanderful.com/chapters to fill out an an application. And I am going to put this in the chat right now. So bear with me. So that is officially in the chat. And what you can do is you go to this page and it will tell you all about our individual local hubs. It'll walk you through the individual roles and responsibilities again. And then there is an application there where you can start a new hub. You can activate an inactive hub. And it also walks you through which role you want to walk into and questions for that role. And basically, those applications come to me. If there's an existing team that you're applying to, your application will be forwarded to the team for review. If it's brand new, I personally will be reviewing it. And basically, our next round of new hub acceptances begins right now. So go ahead, click away and start applying, you guys. I really look forward to seeing what comes through and meeting some of you guys. This being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sam on stage, and we're going to talk through any questions that have come up as we've been talking. And by all means, if you guys have questions, just put them in the chat and we will make sure that we get them answered. All right.
Great. So our first question, Jordan, is if you're in an established hub and have been doing a role already, how do they need to formally apply?
If you're in an established hub and have been doing a role, no, for that. So in other words, if you were already serving as a volunteer or a team member, all you need to do is actually select the role that you want to apply for. And of course, check with the existing hub leader. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. Any other questions? Anyone?
Samantha says, when you are planning the monthly meetups, how does that work? And do you have a budget, or are you kind of just...
That is a great question, Samantha. So part of what we do, the monthly meetups, and we walk you through. So basically, if you're accepted as a hub leader, you would then A, of course, receive your free membership link, and then B, you would be walked through a self-paced training that is within our member portal. And it sort of shows you how we do everything. It gets you set up with social media graphics and your affiliate link and where to find your own local hub within the member portal, all of that. One of the things that we do as well for events is talk about how to set up in-kind events. So a lot of times we'll just have members meet somewhere free, whether it's outdoors and doing an activity. Other times we'll just say, we're going to be at this venue at 5 o'clock. Come meet us and take a corner. Requires no other prior planning. Sometimes we'll have reservations and just need a head count. For larger events, we do have a script that we show folks that's basically says, hey, we're going to have a huge group of women. We're going to drive a lot of extra business on, this off-peak hour to you. And can we take a corner of your space so long as we share on Wanderful socials, which are over 90K. So pretty significant. And most of the time we hear yeses. So we even sometimes get free drinks included. But the end result is that we do walk you through how to do that and to get you really comfortable with it.
Awesome. Our next question, well, I've got a couple that are similar, so I'm going to combine it. Do you have to have people sort of already ready to start up a new hub? And then also, like, how many people do you need?
So it's preferable to have people ready to start a hub, but you do not have to have people start up a hub. A lot of times it might be that you're really interested and driven and totally okay to take on the role. And the 25 free memberships that you will receive, could very well be used to bring people into the other roles. So that's totally fine too, if you're interested. And it really is, again, like which role you decide to do, and you can build your team as you go. So.
Awesome. And then I have a follow-up from Jen, which I thought that was your little profile photo, Jen. So hi. She's the one who is already sort of
SAT years is Stacy.
yeah, already doing stuff, but isn't formally signed up yet. She says she has a friend who just recently signed up, but she didn't have her affiliate link yet. There's no way to backtrack that, right?
So it sounds like yes. No, there is not, unfortunately, without using the affiliate link. That being said, if you're on the team, actually, you know what, Jen, just shoot me an email because I'll give you the official, the link to start the training. And yeah, you should get it. And then you should be able to walk through all of that as well. It sounds like you have your affiliate link, but just in case.
And then Flavia asks, are hubs created based on an interest level in that location? For instance, she's currently in Lisbon and would love to start one there.
Flavia, we have a global meetup coming in Lisbon. I believe, let me get, I think it is events, HTTPS. I'm just going to put this in the chat as well. So we actually do have an upcoming global meetup in Lisbon this year. I hope that's the right link. So if you're interested, that would be a really, really good opportunity to start a hub is in advance of that and meet some of the wonderful ladies in person. Really what ends up happening is that the ladies, the hub leaders are the ones who generate the community, right? So that's the major, and there are tons of wonderful women that have been like pre-pandemic inactive in certain areas that people didn't even realize we had like a whole bunch of members in that region. So the whole goal of the hub leaders is to come in and sort of activate that community and find community and create the community and be the members there. So.
Samantha's wondering if off the top of your head, you know if there's already a Nashville chapter.
One was very briefly started, so the groundwork is there, but we sure would love to have a new hub leader for Nashville.
Samantha, if you're interested. And then Danielle is wondering, what is the sort of discussion for the monthly meetups? Are they just networking? Do you discuss planning trips? How's that programmed?
Well, I think, Danielle, one of the beautiful things about Wanderful is the monthly meetups are whatever you want them to be. The only really requirements for the events that we have is that they are just, sort of fall under Wanderful mission guidelines, which might be like women focused, travel focused, and the events go anywhere from, like actual activities, whether it's arts and crafts activities, going to sunflower fields, going on hikes, to just brunches and happy hours, to what else have we done? We've done a lot of stuff in DC.
So Jordan hosted us for a potluck at her house.
Yes,
that was lovely.
And we had an adult
bouncy house.
We had an adult bounce house in my front yard. Yeah. It was amazing. In kind, by the way. So yeah, there's a lot of freedom in it. You can make it yours and how you want to do it, the kinds of things that keep you motivated and that you think people in your area would be interested in attending, because of course too, that's going to vary from place to place. Like what people in the Austin and Elisa's Austin hub might be willing to do in July is not going to be the same thing that people in DC might be willing to, let's go further. In Seattle might be willing to do in July. Yeah. And let's see, do we have any others coming through?
That was the last one so far.
All right. Well, I will. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Huge thanks to Teresa and Elise as well. I will actually go ahead and drop my wonderful email in the chat for you all. In case you have additional questions, but definitely go check out the application link, the /chapters, and that should answer a lot of your questions in advance too. So
Samantha did just have one last question. She is an independent travel agency. Are there rules as far as selling to Wanderful members?
We're fairly We're fairly easygoing about a lot of that. We want Wonderful to be a community where we're uplifting one another, and there is definitely a degree of collaboration between members. With a lot of the small business members, there's a lot of travel agents in there, and they do contact and collaborate with a lot of the creator members in there. We do have a separate section as well for small business members specifically, where you can officially post your offerings. Now that is not available to creator members, but it is available to the small business members. So a lot of folks run group trips, for example, and there is a section where through just an approval process that they can say, hey, I'm having this group trip and here's a listing, and Wonderful members are welcome to join. I hope that helps. But I mean, it's basically like, as long as you're not just coming in and like, blowing up all the feeds with promotional stuff like once a day. We've all seen that. Nobody does it in Wonderful, but we've all seen it in Facebook feeds before. So good.
Flavia says, I like creating content and would like to create and host events, but don't have much experience with the events part itself. Would that be a problem?
Flavia, I might take a look at the content role specifically, and maybe learn a little bit about Wonderful through that role with a Lisbon base. And then, I mean, you're so lucky because the Wonderful group is going to be there this summer, and they're going to be hosting a bunch of events that you can meet up with the ladies and take part in. You can see the kinds of event stuff that happens. I could even introduce you to some of the ladies that actually work on the event side there. And you can see if you like it and see if you're ready to go for it. All right. I think that looks like we might be finishing up. All right. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me for this 45 minutes. I really, really, really hope that anybody who's thinking of applying absolutely does apply. It's been such a huge part of my life now for several years. I got started just as a member. I became a hub leader, and now I'm on the team. And I am inundated with all things Wonderful and super happy about it, actually. So I really hope that everyone applies, takes a look at the page. And like I said, definitely let me know if you have questions. Just shoot me an email. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you to the hub leaders. And yes, I hope I'll be seeing you around the Wonderful community. Bye. Thank you, guys.